Good morning, everybody. It's the morning recording. It's your boy, Big J, aka the Fat Ass Badass. I'm here with you on another glorious day. It's beautiful outside, mixture of overcast weather and then the sun breaking through the clouds in certain spots. And sitting here where I always do, for the majority of the time, anyways. I sit here in our dining room at our kitchen table, and a lot of times I just open up the blinds and just let the outside weather interact with me a little bit, and it's beautiful today. And the sun just happens to be peeking through at a perfect spot right now, and it's shining down its beautiful vitamin D right down on top of me, and I'm soaking it up, and I love it. Um, so yesterday I got a call from an old friend of mine that I used to work with, acquaintance slash friend. She's older. She's in her 60s, and she's a nice lady, and we've always uh, been, good friends to each other. And she texted me yesterday. She messaged me actually on Facebook yesterday and asked me if I was available to help her and her husband, who he owns a thrift shop here in town, if I could help them move some stuff, and work a couple hours for him, for pay, of course, because she knows that, that I could use some money here and there that I'm building what I'm building here, but that, that I need to be able to provide for myself, and I still need to do odd jobs here and there, and stuff like that. So agreed to work a couple of hours for her this morning to help them move some stuff out of um, a house, because they purchased a bunch of items from an estate sale, and they needed to move that and clear that out of the home there. And there wasn't much left, but the garage is pretty full, and we had to pull some things out of the basement and whatnot. But just want to know if I can come over and help for a couple hours and get paid as the way it was presented to me. And because they need help with that. It's a business to running, and I need help put a little bit of gas in the car and to survive. So just both sides get met there. But so I worked a couple hours, and right when they gave me the address, and when I got there, it was her, and it was another gentleman that was helping her husband. He wasn't there. I guess he was back at the store, and so I helped them right away. Started loading stuff, and we got the first load in their truck, and we took it over to the store. And as soon as I introduced myself to the man, he didn't look me in the eye, didn't tell me his name. He just kind of said, "Hey," and looked to the side, and even rolled his eyes a little bit as he was saying hello to me in his own little way. So right from the start, I felt like I don't know, I felt a little bit sketchy from him. The store is a rather new thrift store. He's from around these parts a long time. He doesn't know me. I moved up here just a few years ago. I've been a Rolling Stone in my life, so I oftentimes have to build relationships wherever I go. So he doesn't know me from Adam. So maybe he's just antisocial a little bit, or he's gets anxiety a little bit. But so right from the start, I had a little bit of a funny feeling from him. But so I had already been kind of prerequisited. Is that a word? I've been kind of filled in from Amy, because I obviously rode over with her. She drove the truck. Once it was filled up, I rode over with her every time we would take a load. And so the first load she told me over there, she told me that he's a little bit rough around the edges, and that not rough around the edges, but he's pretty stern and gruff, and he doesn't like to talk a lot. And he was worried that he was going to have to, that I was going to want to talk to him, so from right there, I already knew that he was going to be a little standoffish and whatnot. And she had, just told me that he doesn't like to joke around very much. He's a pretty stern guy and whatnot. And they've only been married a short time. When I knew her before, when we worked together, she wasn't with him. So it was a pretty fast-moving relationship, probably under a year to get married. So, but they're both older. He's in his 50s, looks like maybe mid-50s. She's in her 60s. So, anyways, so after I introduced myself to him, me and the other gentleman, we unloaded everything out of the truck, put it wherever he wanted it, and then we went back and we ended up getting. I ended up doing 3 loads with them over there, and on the third load, I've been working, about 2.5 hours, and I had told, from the start, it had been agreed that I work 2 hours, so, I let him know that it had been, a little over 2 hours, and, it's going to be the conclusion of my help, so that's what we agreed upon, so can I go ahead and have my wages now? And that's pretty much exactly how I put it to him. And and the whole time, see, every time we took things over there, he was talking to her on the side and looking at me, rolling his eyes. I tried to talk to him, rolling his eyes, and not even acknowledging me. So, on a social level, he didn't treat me as I feel people should be treated as a human. And then, when I told him that I needed to be paid now, he told me, she's got it for you. And he averted his eyes and he walked back in the thrift store, and she was in the truck already. She's going to give me a ride back over to the house, to the location where my car was at. Sorry, where actually our car, mine and Nikki's car, is at. And when I walked over, and the first thing I asked her, because I already felt from the fact that he didn't want to acknowledge me, I didn't fall off the turnip truck yesterday. A guy that's going to pay me underneath the table won't even acknowledge me. He's been kind of treating me like shit the whole time. I kind of felt like, he might try to rip me off. So I went over to her and asked her how much she had for me. And again, it's 2 hours, base level wages for a laborer under the table these days. I mean, $10 an hour isn't too much to ask for. It's the bottom of the barrel. I mean, if $10 an hour for someone to work hard for their time. I mean, we know we're just talking about a 20 spot here altogether, and it's not worth fighting over and stuff like that. But when I went over to her, she said she had $15 for me, and that's $7.50 an hour, and even less than that because I've worked even a little over 2 hours, and my time is valuable to me, and I love myself and appreciate myself, and I know what I'm worth, and I know that it was agreed upon that I'd work there for wages that day, and not, not that I would help out a friend at any time, but it was agreed upon to be paid for, and my time was allotted as such in my mind. So when she had $15 for me, I basically said, hold on, I'll be right back, and I immediately went into the thrift store, and I said, hey, Don, I worked 2.5 honest hours for you. And the fair thing to do is to pay me, $10 an hour for 2 hours for that time. Let's go ahead and round back down to 2 hours. And I'm going to be needing $20 from you, not 15. That an honest 2 hours, that's $20, not 15, and that's what I'm going to need from you for the hard work I did for those 2 hours. Even though I know it's just 2 hours, it's just $15 to $20, but for me, standing up for what's right is important, and for knowing what you're worth and what you're valued, and something that was agreed upon at the beginning. So, and me and her had talked too on the way over there about, because she said that he would pay me according to how hard I worked, and I told her that, well, the minimum rate for that should definitely be $10 an hour. As long as he just pays me $10 an hour. That's not asking too much for someone who's going to work hard for you for a couple of hours. And she agreed to that. And and relay that information to him via text message, texting and driving. So, anyways, so I told him that, and so he stomps out. This dude's 6'7", 300 pounds. I'm 6'1", between 6'1" and 6'2", 330 pounds, and he's a big dude, an old dude, mid-50s, but he still got around pretty well. He was hunched over a little bit here and there, but still a big dude. He marched his big ass on out to the fucking truck, and I go around to the passenger side because, of course, I'm going to get that ride. I'm just trying to get my money, and he goes, "Give me back that fucking $15. Give this son of a bitch just 20 here, and I don't want him back here." And so I was like, well, I'm not coming back. Don't worry, Thank you for doing the right thing and paying me what I'm, the minimum of what I'm worth here. I would have worked longer if we would have, if you would have wanted to have me back in the future. I would have worked, longer hours for you at a fair rate of $10 an hour. But I don't want to be back now anyways. And he tells her, "Get him the fuck out of here before I hit him." And so my instincts clicked in. And see, that's what I'm talking about. Like, it wasn't. I'm not saying that me standing up for my like standing up for yourself is the. And so I'm not saying that standing up for yourself is the wrong thing to do. Like, we do need to stand up for ourselves. But when he said he was going to hit me, I still did this thing that I've always done where I just react and I defend myself to the point where it's going to lead to a physical altercation, most likely. So when he said he's going to hit me, I was like, what, motherfucker? Oh, you're going to hit me? Oh, you're going to fucking hit me? And I got out of the truck and I was like, where you at, motherfucker? Where you at? Where? And he was like on the other side of the truck and I couldn't really see him because it was like a big like king cab with like tinted windows in the back and stuff. So he was like back there somewhere. He got out of the window and he was staying over there. And I was like, where you at, motherfucker? Come over here. And and he fucking comes around the truck because I fucking challenge him. And so I fucking square up. I fucking get my left hand back and get ready to throw my overhand. And he's like, I don't even. He's all, you better get the fuck out of here before I hit you. And I said, go ahead and hit me, motherfucker. I said, it's assault right in front of your own store, dummy. And I said, I'm fucking ready too. Once you hit me, motherfucker. I said, I got my good hands ready, motherfucker. And that's what I say motherfucker a lot too. Like Samuel L. Jackson when I'm in these altercations. Motherfucker. No, but so this is where I self-admittedly need to improve myself because this is what makes me a hypocrite. So I'm preaching to you guys that we need to come together, and then I'm presented with one obstacle in my life or one hurdle where someone I'm defending myself, but I know this man can't physically harm me the way he wants to, and I know that I'm not really defending myself scared. I'm defending myself offensively, and that's how I'm going to hurt somebody. Or even if, he's an old man, but he's fucking 6'7", 300 pounds. And that's why he probably threatened to hit me. I think he did it instinctively because he's used to his whole life, especially like when he was younger in his teens, 20s, 30s, 40s. Most of his life, he could threaten somebody or intimidate somebody with his physical force, and he could get away with it. A lot of big guys use this tactic. A lot of big guys who actually aren't going to be physical with you, they pretend like they're going to be physical with you all the way until it gets to that point. And being a big man, I know that. Like, I don't go fucking picking on people, but I know that I know my stature, and I know when I look at myself in the mirror, I don't see a lightweight. You know what I mean? So I don't go picking on people or bullying people or using my power like he tried to do to me, but I definitely understand that logic being a big man myself. So got in my face, I stood my ground, and then he tried to fucking shut the truck door on me because I was still standing fucking right next to the truck near the passenger side. So he tried to fucking shut the truck door on me. So I basically told him he should be ashamed of himself. Fuck you. You don't know me. I ain't the one. And you can come at me when you see me next time if you want to, because I'm still immature and still working on myself. I gave in and defended myself to the point where I created an offensive arsenal for myself. And so when he tried to shut the door on me, I fucking just... I was like, fuck this, dude. Fuck you. I had my money. She had fucking given me my money and all this mayhem. And... yeah, I just fucking got on the truck, and as soon as we took off, she apologized for it. She apologized for his actions, which is something that if I ever find out like that my girlfriend has been having to apologize for my actions for my whole relationship, like that's drastic to me. Like that calls for a look in the mirror. You know what I mean? Any situation where somebody who loves you has to be a mediator between you and other people that aren't so close in her life. That means that you're most likely putting her in a pretty awkward situation a lot of times. And she hasn't even been with him that long, and she already has... I mean, she could have honed this from other relationships, but she already has defending him down to a science. So I told her that it wouldn't affect our friendship. She asked me about that, and I told her that I would even go, that if she ever needs help with anything else or ever needs help in life, that to give me a call and I'd be there for her. So I wasn't trying to be an asshole and trying to get my money. I was just trying to do what's right. It was presented to me as a positive for both sides. They get an extra hardworking hand for a couple hours in the morning because, see, they had a time limit. They only had a couple hour window this morning from when the people were going to let them in the home. So it was sensitive around the home, their death in the family and stuff. So they only had a couple hour window, and so I helped them for that couple hour window, got everything that we could out of there. Anyways, like to extend the olive branch even to my enemies. So to the asshole out there on the other side of this confrontation today, I hope your business thrives. And I hope you learn that just like you have to treat your customers fairly and offer them decent prices, you also have to treat people who are willing to labor for you fairly. And that unless you have a family to work for you, people need to, that you already help take care of with the profits of the business. People that work for you who aren't on the inner circle of the business need to be taken care of too, even if you're just having them work for a couple of hours. So you need to remember that. So he's pretty old to learn that lesson. He needs to start looking motherfuckers in the eyes when he meets them, shaking their hand like a real man, like not like a fucking limp noodle with looking the other way and rolling his eyes like he doesn't even want you to be there. You want me to work for you? Then treat me like a human being. You're not a slave master. I'm not a slave. And I'll stand up to you to fight for what's right, for my fair wages, just like everybody should. So everybody is getting fucked over in this world and on a daily basis, and most people are just swallowing that shit, and I'm not going to. So, but see, that's part of my flaw, though, is overreacting. So I need to work on that part of myself. Any of you other people out there need to be self-reflective. If you do the same thing, you find yourself in the same sort of patterns or behaviors as I do in my life, we need to take a look at ourselves in the mirror and recognize that we don't need to give our energy out to the world in those situations like that. We need to pick our battles more wisely and fight the battles that'll actually help change our lives for the better. Once I had my money, I didn't need to, you know what I mean? I had my money. I didn't need to, when he said he's going to hit me, I could have just let that slide because I've been hit before and I'm not afraid to be hit. And it's not a fucking physical confrontation. It's something that I've been around and I've been part of before. So I knew him saying he's going to hit me. It's not, if I was defending myself, I was already in a more safe position in that truck. Like I wasn't scared of the man. Like I got out and created an offensive arsenal and tried to start the physical altercation. I was always taught to allow the other man to swing first and then defend yourself and that. And so I do that physically. Like if he would have hit me, that was it. I was waiting for him to come over. He said he was going to hit me. You're going to hit me. That would have been it. And we would have been at it. And either I'm an asshole who beats up an old man or I'm a fucking chump who gets beat up by an old man. 20 years older than me. I guess he's not that old. In his mid-50s, 6'7". He's still formidable, I can still find his chin, though. I know I had the range. I have a pretty long reach, but shouldn't be thinking like that, That's our flaw. How are we supposed to be a one world when we can't even get along together? How are we supposed to do business transactions between ourselves without having to evolve corporate entities if we can't pay each other correctly and then not getting fistfights over the pay afterwards, Like, he should have been able to pay me fairly, and we should have been able to go out and enjoy a beer together and have a laugh. He couldn't even look at me in the eye, man. It made me feel horrible right from the start. If you're a business owner, an entrepreneur out there, especially a small business, you can't afford to not look people in the eyes, okay? Businessmen have to be consistent, decisive, socially open to meeting new people, because you can't expand your business without meeting new people, and that comes from the laborers that you're going to work with, to the customers you're going to work with, and possible business partners that you're going to work with. So that's something that man is going to need to work on if he's going to become successful in that thrift store business, because we need thrift stores. We need places where people can buy clothes that aren't going to break them financially. So, or, like dressers or entertainment centers or refrigerators, washers and dryers, shit like that. People need to have sources of goods that aren't just straight from the manufacturers and getting charged an exorbitant amount for those items that, and a lot of times the older stuff works better anyways, man. They make stuff these days to keep the market moving. Everything you buy nowadays, it only lasts so long, whether it's an appliance in the home, your cell phones, electronic goods, all of those things, they have a shelf life, and sooner or later all of those products stop working, and then that's why they come out with new models, and you buy a new model, and that's what keeps the market moving at a faster pace, and that's why these capitalists keep getting richer and richer. So as far as I'm concerned, if somebody can buy a washer machine from 1950 from a thrift store that's going to keep running forever, they should be able to do that. So I hope these kind of establishments stay alive, and so I want this business to thrive. The people of this city need more places to be able to buy things at a better price. So that's just common sense. So I don't wish any ill on the man. I hope he has a healthy life. I hope that he has many successes, but I'm busy building my thing, and I think that I understand some basic principles that are going to allow me to succeed in areas where maybe he won't in his business. So we're going to see. So he's building up his thing. He's already ahead of me. I'm building up my thing, which is completely different, but I'm just excited for I'm not proud of myself the way I handle myself today all the way. I am proud that I stood up for myself, but I'm proud of myself that I have the awareness to be able to reflect on it like this just a little while after it happened. And I'm proud that I've learned some things in my life, and think that I'm going to be able to apply them, and hope that some of you guys can see my way of thinking, and that you might want to come along for the ride, and share these moments with me as I have them every day, and share them with you on here. So I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. I hope if you guys had to stand up for yourselves today, that it went well for you, and that it didn't end up with you in jail, or somebody else physically hurt, or yourself physically harmed from some other asshole who wants to roll you and then fuck you up physically. So wow, it got darker outside. Raining now again. Yeah, it rains all the time here. We're up in here in Oregon. It's beautiful. Weeds illegal. Overcast and rainy. Magical feeling that it goes straight to the sun, coming through the clouds, and shining that beautiful vitamin D down on our souls, which we all need. I get a vitamin D supplement actually from a brand. I don't know if I'm allowed to say their name. I mean, it's a public brand. I mean, I don't resell their products or anything. So I get vitamin D, liquid vitamin D spray that's set in MCT oil from Onnit.com. Heard about Onnit, obviously, listening to the podcast and stuff like that, listening to Aubrey Marcus talk on his own YouTube channel, on his own YouTube videos about Onnit and stuff like that, the positive benefits, the quality of the products and stuff like that. So tried quite a few products from them, but the vitamin D spray, it makes me feel good. Like a cup of coffee, vitamin D spray, and I actually ran out a little while ago. I haven't been able to buy anymore. I got to take care of what's most important, which is the people around me. So hustling to make my ends meet and building this, and my artwork is going to keep me afloat in the world sooner or later. And this is my medium right here. The airways are my canvas. The ether is what I paint on with vivid, expressive words straight from the heart and the mind of this man right here. So I love myself, and I hope all of you guys out there love yourselves as well. I hope that when you look in the mirror, you look at someone that you're proud of, someone that's helping the people around them, not harming the people around them, being fair in all your business practices, all your social entanglements, treating people fairly, looking them in the eye, treating them like humans, not like they're just some fucking livestock or some slave or some machine standing in front of you. So it's very important. Another thing, I told you guys and I've told myself that I don't want to work for companies anymore, but I got a call out of the blue yesterday from a company that offered me a position in their store before my last job earlier this year. And I ended up going with this other job instead of them. And they called me out of the blue and they offered me just a seasonal position in their store. And I have an interview actually in just an hour and a half from now for that. So he's a good dude. He's an acquaintance of mine. We used to work together. He's now general manager at a local retail establishment here. And he said it's, seasonal job, and, hours are it's not going to be 40 hours a week, but there'll be some hours and whatnot. And that'll work perfect for me. And I know I said I don't want to work for any companies anymore, but I need, to finish buying equipment I need for these projects of mine. Right now, you're hearing my voice and you're not seeing my face because I don't have a camera that I can use. I need to buy equipment. I need to purchase a high definition camera. I need a soundboard. Right now, this is off of a decent but low-end USB mic and straight off my laptop. I need to upgrade my laptop, my software. I'm running an old operating system. I need to buy equipment so that way I can put out the other products I want to put out for you guys where I can flex my creative chops and things like that, not just talk freestyle off the top of my head, even though this is awesome too. There's other projects out there I want to put out there and it requires video camera. It's going to be video content. So that's why I'm probably going to take it. I think hopefully today, this interview is just a formality. I've had an interview with him before and he offered me a job. And the other position he actually offered me was, it was a promotion. I'll have to receive a promotion from this position, actually a couple of promotions to get where the first job offer he offered me. So, my life's a little bit awkward right now. I feel like the guy from American Beauty who's taking the job back at McDonald's. It's not fast food that I'm going to, but it's all just a different mask on the same shit. But it is what it is. So I don't want a career with a different company. I want my career to be my life. So what I'm passionate about. So I guess I'm right where I want to be. I'll make enough money to where I can, because the amount of bills at the house aren't very much, there's 2 couples here living here. There's 4 of us. Everything's split halfway between the couples, and the apartment itself isn't very expensive. So, I can make ends meet, pay my part of the bills, and until this gets lifted off to the ground and I can develop the other products I want to while I'm not working, because it's just going to be part-time hours. So I'll be able to basically work full-time for myself, making all my projects, especially after I have all the equipment I need. And then I'll be able to work. I'll be working part-time there, and then that'll nurture this along until it unfolds and develops into what it's going to be and can help take care of me to where I have a following, to where there's many more of you guys listening to me on YouTube for the morning recording, and my other podcast I want to do, the Pondercast, and then the other YouTube channel I'm going to create called Fat Ass Badass, where I have Fat Ass Badass TV, where it's the sociable things that I enjoy. It's about cannabis culture, pop culture, video game culture, and foodie culture. And so I'll be combining all those things, cooking shows, shows where I profile different types of cannabis strains and extracts, and be seeing which ones of my friends can take fattest bong rips. Just stupid. We need to be able to express ourselves in all kinds of different ways. You know what? That's how I enjoy my time. A lot of times after I get off work, traditionally, or now when I'm not doing this and not promoting the stuff that I'm already putting out there, I enjoy being around people I love, cooking, eating, smoking, playing games. Hell, we don't have to play video games. It could be we could have a dartboard on the wall and we could play darts. So that's what Fat Ass Badass is going to be about. We're going to have Fat Ass Badass TV, which is going to be basically like a show where I'll be me being the host, and then I'll have a guest on once a week. Every week we'll have a different guest on, and we'll profile a different type of cannabis strain, and we'll smoke some. We'll talk a little bit about what's going on in their life, about what message they want to put out there, and do some different fun things. And I'll have edibles made for them, each guest, that I've made on a different show, that I'm going to do called the Get Baked Kitchen. That's going to be on Fat Ass Badass. It'll be called the Get Baked Kitchen. That's going to be me in my kitchen making, showing you guys how to make goods with cannabis. So I'll show you guys how to make canna butter and cannabis infused MCT oil, cannabis infused olive oil, things like that. And then we'll make different stuff with them. We'll make cookies, we'll make Rice Krispie treats, all the traditional stuff, and we'll make some more creative stuff, like some no-bake coconut balls. We can make breads. We can make some banana nut bread. We can do savory dishes. Man, we could fucking toss some chicken. We can make some hot wings, some buffalo wings, and we can toss the sauce. We can mix that with some cannabis-infused MCT oil or some cannabis-infused olive oil, and we could toss those wings in that and not reach the temperature where it ruins the structure of the THC and the cannabinoids in that concentrate. And, man, we can get baked off of some hot wings, man. We can go savory. We can go any route. We can make milkshakes, cannabis-infused milkshakes. We can make candies. Maybe we can make some hard candies in one episode. See, these are some other things I want to do. And the other podcast I want to do, the Pondercast. That's going to be expression of free thought. You come on there with, we're going to have guests on there, friends on there, enjoy things that we enjoy. Maybe smoke together or enjoy a cup of coffee together if my guest doesn't like to smoke, and just have free reign on and remind people that we have to be thinking in multiple ways in order to come out with multiple different answers and results and answers to questions and how to solve problems and resolutions to problems and things like that. So reminding people not to stay on track, to keep themselves creative and open-minded, and to use critical thought processes to figure out what information they want to accept in their life, and not just to believe things, but to research them themselves. And everything has to be researched yourself. There's nothing, just like there's no experience anybody else can lend to you. You want to know why your parents are infuriated when they tell you about their lives and the mistakes they made, then you go and repeat them, is because they were trying to stop you from making those same mistakes. But what they don't understand is that you had to make those mistakes in order to learn from them. They can't lend experiences to you that way at all. And yeah, nobody can lend you anything. You have to do it on your own. You have to figure it out on your own. So you have to figure out that you are your own savior. Even me telling you that there's no savior outside of you that's going to save you, that God is within you, and that whatever God is and whatever connects all of this in this earth, it is within you, at the center core of you. You are it, and it is you, and there's nothing outside of you that's ever going to save you. You have to save yourself. You have to figure it out yourself. You have to study it yourself. You have to experience it yourself. You have to figure out that many of these experiences on this earth and many of the ways that people rule on this earth are bullshit, and that is for your own self to figure out. I can sit here and tell you until I'm blue in the face, but you're not going to figure it out until you figure it out. And that's why most of the people who vote in the elections are of the younger demographic these days. It used to be the other way around, but young people are turning out voting liberal, and that's okay. I mean, they're expressing themselves in their voting, and but people get to a certain age, it seems like in this country, they start to figure some of the basic things out, like how our systems work, justice system, financial system, and they stop wanting to contribute to a broken system. And I'm not the only one. A lot of people my age group have figured out that this world is bullshit. I used to sound completely different. If you'd have talked to me 15 years ago, was raised in the foster home with a conservative family, traditionally Republican, believe that there needs to be successful people out there so they can trickle down jobs to less successful people. And I understand that premise, and it's just not right for me. I need to be my own successful person. But so that's how and so I carried on a lot of those political thoughts into my early adulthood, and I had to figure it out on my own. What triggered it for me was when I figured out how the Federal Reserve worked, and at the same time I was figuring out, how much we've been lied to in our history by our government, and about how all of the wars that we've entered have been on false flag attacks. That's a trigger word. People are going to call me conspiracy theorist and not believe what I say now, but those type of attacks where it creates an emotional response from the people, and it gets the people behind the agenda that you're creating for them to be behind. So once I figured all that out, everything changed for me. And I figured that out, and then my life got really interesting. I was supposed to once again see the other side of life outside of the picket fence, and I did, and that was up in all of that. And my dad passing away, and me and his girlfriend being there and holding him in our arms, and I know my brothers and my other family were there. They were there even though they weren't physically there. They were still there, and they wanted to be there. So I love you guys, but my dad dying was the pinnacle of that part of my life, and it was like I was 29 years old, and actually no, I'm sorry, I was 27 years old when my father died. He died in 2009. I'm 34 now, so yeah, I was 27, and so that, me figuring out a lot of how the world works, and then being thrown and choosing to throw myself outside of the picket fence and back into a world that was unstable, and had to hustle and grind my way to live during that time frame. And then spending time with my father. He was on the streets in a different town, and then him being put in a hospice and going through his death process, changed me forever. And I am who I am now, all the way. Like it's like it helped remind me of who I was. Like when I was a child, like this is like the core of my essence. Like they want you to believe that you mature into something or someone. You're gonna be an adult now, and you're gonna be different than when you were when you were a child. That's bullshit. All that is happening is that they are making you forget your core and your essence of who you really are, with all of this other external bullshit that you're put through in your whole life. So the farthest back memory you can think of, and then think of what you stood for or what you were at that moment, like no matter how simple it was, whether you just wanted the people in your life to love each other and stop arguing, or whatever it was, that loving kid, that's who you are at your core. And you're never going to mature past that kid. And if you keep denying that person inside of you, that pureness of your consciousness, who you truly are, if you keep trying to hide behind columns of resurrected bullshit created from the external world being placed inside your head, then you're never going to truly experience the depths of consciousness that you can in this world. So that's that. So wanted to get a little philosophical on you guys today. So hope you're still with me. Hope you're still hanging in there. Hope I haven't lost you. So on a lighter note, I was watching these YouTube videos last night, as I often do, especially at night. A lot of times I can't sleep. I have an active mind at night, and I like to seek out interesting things. I came across these guys called Japanese mask changers. Essentially, like, they're in the same category, considered like a magician. A lot of material content that is related to magicians, you'll find these Japanese mask changers, and they have their own. Yeah, you have like one of these guys that was on America's Got Talent and stuff like that, and he's basically like a guy that's dressed. And I'm culturally ignorant, so I do apologize. But it's like it almost looks like a samurai outfit, but like more like what a samurai would look like if he was just at home, I guess, dressed up like I don't know, like a bright colored, silky fucking get up with like a cape, and it has like a hat, like a big like gold plated looking hat, and then he has these masks on, and his cape is like comes down all the way down to his arms, and he waves his arm around with his cape, and every time he waves his arm in front of his face real quick and then back down, his mask changes. And they're real masks. You can tell, like, they're there. But the masks, it's not just like covering the front of his face. It's like they're full, like almost like looking like a lucha libre mask, like a luchador mask, something like that. Like it almost like wraps up his whole head. Like even though the back of his head, you can't see the back of his head because it's covered by like his collar of his cape and that big hat he has on top of his head. the front of the mask, you can tell that it extends back behind the back of his face. And this motherfucker, man, he does it like 50 times in a show. He waves his little fucking cape in front of his face. Bam! It's a different mask, different color. And then towards the end, bam! He does it's this mask that's like it's just like it covers less of his face than the other masks. And then the final time, it's no mask at all. It's just his face. And the video I was watching, the guy is saying that he's getting the help of a demon. That's how he could change the masks. And I don't. I think that there's a possibility that interdimensional creatures could be interacting with us on a daily basis, and that and I understand that we only see a very slim slice of the light spectrum pie, and there's a lot out there that exists that we can't see. But I don't know, like people who are religious like to say demons and shit like that. But maybe that's true. But I don't know how the fuck he does it though. Like, there's nowhere on his body he could literally hide 50 different masks, like 50 different variations of the same mask. I don't know how the fuck they do it. If you guys have an idea about how these Japanese mask changers are changing their masks so quickly without basically moving the rest of their body at all, if you guys have any idea about that, comment below on YouTube or on SoundCloud or on iTunes or whatever different platform you want to get down on. I wish you guys would listen to me on YouTube and subscribe to me on YouTube. I only have 7 subscribers. I have 29 subscribers for Fight Shark, almost 4,000 views for my videos over there, but finding it hard to pick up on the subscribers over here. I'm not going to quit though. If you build it, they will come. Yeah, and if you lick her, she will come. Just joking. But just let you guys know out there, you got to treat your ladies right for all the things they do for you. So you want her to go down on your stinky ass after you come home after a day of work, but you won't treat her right downstairs. That's not very nice. So treat her right twice, because you're a stinky ass fucking man who's not very, you know what I'm saying. So, anyways, little tangent there. Didn't want to just leave you guys with that little quip. And then, I have a hypercritical state of mind for misogyny right now, because every man who makes a manly statement right now is persecuted. There's a witch hunt going on right now for men to be men. So there's a big agenda towards feminism right now, and all you social justice warriors out there, I wanted to let you know that. For one, fuck you, because you're never going to be able to change other people. But also, I understand that you're trying to do the right thing, and I don't want to just shit on your parade. So I understand where you're coming from, But anyways, I'm just going to Rambletown now. T-minus 1 hour and 16 minutes to my interview, which means you guys are just going to get a little bit more out of me today. You'll have to wait till tomorrow to come back to me. But anyways, I wanted to go over, I have Drudge Report up right now, which is the conservative kind of fringe media outlet. The other one, InfoWars also. It used to be InfoWars and Drudge Report had different information than like Fox News, but nowadays it's almost like they've transformed the conservative party into the conspiratorial party and made them all seem like extremists. And Fox News and these these media outlets like Drudge Report and InfoWars all have very similar tones now. But I was just going over news stories on Drudge Report versus Huffington Post, because it's basically like different sides of the same coin here, and they're definitely pandering into the divide. And even if you think that you're lifting up the carpet and looking under the carpet to whatever's below it by viewing the information either from Drudge Report or Huffington Post, I think you're probably just still getting played. But anyways, it's still important to know your enemies and to know what the fuck they're trying to shove down your throat. That way you can avoid it being shoved down your throat at a later date. So on Drudge Report, the very first thing here, poll, 70% of voters do not believe media is honest and truthful. I could have told you that. But especially a spike right now, most people non-election years, they allow themselves to forget, and they convince themselves that the world's all peachy and is the way that they say it is on TV. And then situations happen like the elections, like this time or like any time, and half the country's upset and they want to revolt. And these motherfuckers these people that acted like the other side was extreme and are now being extreme are all gonna shove it back down, deep down to the pit of their stomach, and continue to move forward and be good little sheep here sooner or later. So don't worry. And all the people saying that they're scared of Trump are all the people being scary as fuck right now. So all you on both sides. But anyways, so this is the conservative / conspiratorial spin on what's going on here, and says the Media Research Center announces the findings of a new post-election poll on what actual voters thought about the media's influence on the 2016 presidential race. The MRC YouGov poll was conducted on November 9th and 10th. Key findings: 7 in 10, or 69% of voters, do not believe the news media are honest and truthful. 8 in 10, or 78% of the people, believe that news coverage of the presidential campaign was biased. So that's very interesting right there. One second here. The same people who did this poll just shot an advertisement onto my screen, so say what you want there. So they obviously have a business relationship with the site, and so their poll being displayed here. Funny. Not that I disagree. I would say that once we're ready for true change, that 99% of the people will be thinking that all of the media outlets that are on TV are pretty much untruthful, and that the presidential election is all fucked and rigged, and they've all been getting fucked over for 100 years. The death of our country truly happened way before I was born, 1913 Federal Reserve Act. And all that. So it was after that when all the world wars happened, the Great Depression happened, we declared bankruptcy, JFK was assassinated, Vietnam, lots of bad shit. Lots of bad shit has always happened, but we definitely fucked ourselves into a corner on that one. So you fucking people don't even, when I tell you guys this, you go, what does that have to do with the economy today? What the fuck does it have to do with these guys are gonna do with the economy? Dude, the people who make the true decisions about our economy are the ones that are giving us the dollars, or loaning us the dollars. So the presidents, they're just redelivering their decisions at the Fed's level. So the Federal Reserve, Ben Bernanke, has admitted that the decisions they make are above a federal government level. They believe they're above the government. So they're not federal at all. They're a privatized entity that loans us money at interest, and we pay it back with the same money, and we can never pay back the interest because it's a mathematical trap. And that's why the economy keeps going down, and why the dollar keeps going down, and why neither of these fucks will ever improve it, because they're not willing to change that. And that's how it has to do with how things are going. So he's not going to fuck it any more than it's already being fucked. And if you're scared of him fucking it, you should have been scared of Obama fucking it. You should have been scared of George W. fucking it. You should have been scared of old pimp Bill Clinton, old child molester Bill Clinton fucking it. You should have been scared of Reagan, Senior Bush, Reagan, Jimmy Carter, Nixon. JFK was the only last one. He's the one that fucking tried to change it. There was 3 attempts at a centralized bank to take hold in this country. The last attempt, and the most successful attempt, was in 1913. The Federal Reserve Act is the root of our slavery, and that is what it has to do with us, you brainwashed fucks. Anyways, so more people, truthfully, need to be realizing that the media is fucked, and that they are dishonest on both sides, and that duality has been fed to us our whole lives, and that there is something broader and greater than duality, and it is called unity. You brainwashed fucks, once again. Okay, so going back to these stats here, 1 in 3, or 32% of Clinton voters believe the media were pro-Clinton, which means that they are truly voting for the lesser of two evils. They don't like her. They think she's fucked, but they just think that she's slightly less fucked than Donald Trump. So that's bullshit. So that's what's going on there. So 8% of Trump voters said they would have voted for Clinton if they had believed what the media were saying was true about Trump. So people aren't buying the bullshit anymore. Even though this is probably a biased poll, it's probably I still don't believe that 70% of you brainwashed fucks out there have truly woken up and realized what's going on. But there's a slight possibility, and it's a good notion to think that more of you guys are actually waking up out there and not just getting ready to swallow that cock again once it gets hard again. So in the next 4 years. So apologize for the crude analogy there, but what can I say? I'm a dirty man. All you feminists fucking biatches. Anyways, so that was that poll right there. That was on that's one news story on Drudge Report. Who I got an advertisement from the poll company on the website, so that's interesting right there. So other things, let me see. Majority of anti-Trump protesters arrested in Portland weren't registered or didn't vote. So again, you don't have to be a registered voter to care about what's going on in your country, because voting into a broken system doesn't work anyways, and we need some new way. So protesting the way things are is good, but it makes me believe that maybe these protesters were planted because they should be anti all of it, because all of it is bullshit. It shouldn't be anti-Trump and we want Hillary. If they weren't voters, they weren't registered voters, that means that they didn't want people investigating these riotous activities to find the voting records of these people and see that who they voted for, what the truth was behind it. So no credit's better than bad credit. So anonymous activity or not having as much information about these people is better for the people causing the dysfunction and the mayhem. That's what I believe. Chinese media praised Trump's experience and ideology. So they're tying him. They're making sure that they tie him with references to all of the countries that have been shown, that have been displayed to be our enemies on the bullshit level, on the mainstream level, the last 10, 15, 20 years. Russia's been on and off the last 2 or 3 generations, right? All Cold War and all that. Like, they've been using Russia as a scare tactic against us for a long time, and they're just associating Trump's name with China and with Russia right now a lot. And and it's good. More business ties that we have. If our countries on this earth could truly come together and operate as one and not have wars against each other and stuff, that's the right way to go. But war's not going to end. The bullshit's not going to end. We can have the Antarctic Treaty and all of the most powerful nations on this country can agree not to fuck each other over about the Antarctic, but we go to war on these other levels when the land in the Antarctic is much more valuable than all these other things. And people still believe that it's all true. You can't have a political agreement with another country on one level and then go to war on another level without there being a level of bullshit there, without the rich people playing golf together and laughing about all you poor fucks killing each other. So just so you know, it doesn't make any sense. Anyways, so Drudge Report, it's no mystery, slanting towards the conservative conspiratorial side. And then we got Huffington Post over here. Sayonara Safety Net. I'm talking about Paul Ryan and the Republican Party, and Trump whines about popular vote defeat. 2012 flashback: Electoral College is a disaster for democracy. See, they want people to. This is all about getting people to agree to a direct democracy, because with direct democracy, people will be more likely to vote themselves. Will vote for social programs, more social programs for themselves, because people feel like they're entitled and that the government should be taking care of them because they are what make up the government. But what they don't realize is that the government cannot give you anything they have not yet taken from you. So however bad you're doing right now, if you vote a social program, another social program into existence, then you're just going to be giving the people in control the right and the ability to take even more from you so they can give it back to you, filter it through the system and give it back, trickle it back to you. So you'll be even more poor. So that's what they're doing. That's what this is all about, is getting people to get rid of the republic and go to a direct democracy. Direct democracy with still a centralized bank and still a debt-based currency. in a debt-based society. So, mob rule. Hillary won the popular vote by such a little margin that if we go to a direct democracy and they overturn the Electoral College and they put Hillary in there, that'll mean that not even 51% of the people will be telling a little over 49% of the other people how to live their life. And that's what our forefathers knew wasn't the right way to live. Like, direct democracy seems like the right thing, especially when you're young. You know, you think that black is black and white is white and there's no gray area in between, but there is a gray area in between. And with human nature, there will always be ways to take advantage of things, and direct democracy it's just too easy to take advantage of. All somebody has to do is come up with an idea for a social program that will promise a lot to the people and that will require more assets from the people. And they'll take more from the people in order to make that program a reality. They'll probably get rid of Social Security and put something else in there. You know, it's I don't have all the answers, but I do know that mob rule is not right, and that direct democracy is a far stretch from the republic our forefathers wanted for us. Our forefathers, I think, knew that we weren't going to be able to sustain the freedom, but they wanted to give us a chance. The Constitution is like one of the only political documents in existence in all of our history that promises people freedom, and so they want to destroy all that. They want to put you guys in a direct democracy, which is one step away from just pure socialism. It truly is. You can call me whatever the fuck you want to call me, but you're going to vote in social programs into existence, and they're going to take even more from you, and you're never going to have that shiny new dirt bike you want, asshole. But anyways, so no surprise there. Huffington Post and Drudge Report are doing their things like they always do, slanting to one side or the other, creating that divide there. They want us divided at every level. And I helped and I gave into it today. I fought for $5 extra pay for 2 hours of work for a little fucking side job, just helping move some shit and create a divide with another man. So I hope his business is successful in this town, and I hope that he has a healthy life, and I hope him and the woman that he's with have a happy life together. So anyways, well, it's been about an hour. I'm going to save this for tomorrow, but I did a couple months ago. I wrote this outline for a plan to replace our current taxation system that we have, and I want to read that with you guys tomorrow and go over it with it, and you guys can leave me some comments and let me know either how brilliant or how stupid I am. Yeah, and so I hope you guys have a wonderful day. It's been wonderful talking to you. It's sunny out again, so loving that sunshine. I'm going to go to my interview in just about an hour from now. This has been The Morning Recording.